Happy Christmas in July! I finally received the items I ordered out of the mini catalog and the celebration catalog. Yay! So we're going to make a Christmas pop-up card using the Poinsettia Petals that's found in this catalog, along with the red velvet paper and the Warming Hearts paper. And then we'll use the bedazzling paper found in the celebration catalog for some trim. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I've recorded this video for Joan Simple Papercrafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by, and if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss a video when I post, typically once a week. Give me a few seconds to turn the camera down so we can get started. I'm so glad the mini catalog items arrived so that I could make this card. I don't know if you remember, but back in April when I made the Forever and Always Vase pop-up card for Mother's Day, I said, wouldn't this be great as a poinsettia card? And it did. It turned out just great. Look at this. So, and the items that I have that are new from the mini catalog are the velvet paper that I used to make the poinsettias. And then this is free from the celebration. I got this free for placing a $50 order, and I use that to make these picks here. And then we also got this piece from the Heartwarming set of designer series paper, and this is what's on the other side, so looks really nice. So let me get going here. I use the Poinsettia Petals, and that is in the Everyday catalog. And then I also use the poinsettia dies, and I used quite a few of the dies in here, so I'm not going to try and pick them out. Let me see, what else can I tell you? A couple things I want to point out is, I also used the white felt paper. I don't know if you can tell this is felt, but I actually did cut it out the white, and then we used the dark saffron to color it. So that's what I did here, just right here. So let's go ahead and get started. For this card, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5, and I've already scored it, and I've already glued on the piece of Real Red, which is cut at, let me get my cheat sheet here. The Real Red is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. But then I went and took my rectangle dies and I cut out this piece right here. So you can see that belongs in there. I can use this on another project. I don't have anything in mind right now, but I can use it later on. Saves me some paper that way. Then we've got a sheet of Very Vanilla, cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just going to glue that right down there. And give me a second to put my mat down, my silicone mat down, so that if I get glue off, if I go off the paper, it'll go onto that silicone mat rather than onto my work surface. Because if it's on the work surface, everything's going to get a little sticky, and over time the work surface is is going to be a real mess. So this way, the silicone mat, I can just go and clean off the ink or the glue, and we're good to go for the next card. Move this out of the way a little bit. So on this card, I wanted to have about a 1/16 of an inch border around the card. So I've got my 3 petals. This is the largest. We used all 3 of them. So we have large, medium, and small. And we're going to, first we're going to poke down the centers. So I have a cushion mat here to allow me to push that down. And then we're also going to take the edges and curl this. Now keep in mind, this is paper, so you've got to be careful when you're curling it so you don't pull off a leaf. So it just kind of softens up the petals. And then I'm going to go back and re-poke them in the middle to kind of lift it up a little bit again. So now that bends the leaves up some. And then one more. Then we want to glue these down, and I'm going to place this first before I glue it, just to make sure that I kind of have it in the right position. And I'll just poke it again to kind of make the glue stick. And we'll do the next one, and I'm going to place it down too. Okay. So I'm trying to get it so that the petal is going in between the 2 other petals underneath it. So then you get to see all a great majority of the petals that way. And then the next thing we'll want to put the middle of the flower in. And I don't know my gardening names, so I'm just going to say it's the middle of a flower. And I'm changing this to use our gold paper. So, and I'm just going to put a little glue on the back. And of course I'm going way off the page. Got it all on the front side too. I'm going to try using the take your pick tool. Let's see if I can't get the glue back on here again. Okay. Then we'll just poke it down the middle. There we go. And that's what we needed for our card. So now we'll bring in the card base. And we will kind of set our flower in the middle. And I'm just going to arrange them, kind of using the other one as a pattern. So when I did the first one, I just plunked them down and just, played around with them for a while till I felt like it looked even. And then I went and glued them down, each one at a time. And I have one left here that doesn't have any ink on it. So that's what I wanted to show you. What I did is I die cut the leaf first. And then I went in and used our ink to get the coloring onto the petals. So I'm using the Mossy Meadow ink with the Mossy Meadow paper. And let me use, what happened to my paper? Well, here we go. So then I'm just going to stamp this right on the card, or right on the die cut. There we go. Then we're going to go ahead and bring in our Stampin' scrub to clean this ink pad off. Ink stamp pad off. So earlier today I was stamping, so I've got it wet on this side and this is the dry side. And you know that by there's a raindrop up there and there's a sunshine up in here. So I'm just going to scrub it and then scrub it on the other side and that'll dry it off. So there's our other leaf. That's a little bit too big. I got two sizes of leaves here and I'm just trying to make sure I got the right ones in there. So I think that's about right. And I am going to put glue on the inner portion of those leaves and see how that looks. We may have to go back and put more glue on, but I'm thinking I don't need to have all kinds of glue on there. I don't want to glue them completely flat because I want them to have some kind of life. And I'm trying to work fast enough so that we can move these around if we need to. That looks like it's one that has a sticker on the back. So let's see, how did we do? I think we want these to be a little closer. Yeah, I think that looks good. Then for the center of to attach the flower, I am just going to put dimensionals on the back, the center part of the back. And I'm going to put 3 on there. So that should keep it balanced. And let's see. This one's coming off, so let's glue that one back down. I don't know where they were. And then we need to put in our picks. And so I use the gold picks like I did the petal or the center of the flower. So let's see what we can do here. And I'm going to have to shorten it up some. So we'll probably do it something right about there. And one right about here. And we'll use dimensionals, but we're going to use the smaller dimensionals. Actually, I'm going to use glue dots. I don't want to use the dimensionals on there. I think they'll make it a little bit imbalanced. So I am going to clip this piece off at the end. And nobody's going to see that, so I'm just going to clip it so then we won't be bumping into anything. And then let's see which one will work better. So I'm going to just put a dimension or a glue dot behind this flower right there. Just want to make sure I've got it all. Okay, I think I got it. And we'll do the same thing here by getting rid of that. Allows us a little flexibility where we can put this. And I think I'm just going to do the same glue dot position. Actually going to try and fold that glue dot over a little bit. It looks like that one's a little bit wider. Use my take your pick tool to lift that up, but I think I got it now. So those are down. And then the next thing we need is to put our Merry Christmas on there. So I did do up the card ahead of time. And I'm doing a lot ahead of time to save us time on things, because basically it's the flower that I want to show you how to do, and doing the cards, the paper stuff. We should all know how to do that already, or at least we've done it in other videos. So so anyways, I'll give you the dimensions here. It is we use Mossy Meadow for the background, and that is 3 5/8 inches by 1 inch. And then the real red is 3 1/2 inches by 7/8 inch. And then the very vanilla is 3 3/8 by 3/4 inches. And we're going to just use the dimensionals to put that on. And we're going to use the larger dimensionals. And I'm going to use 3 of them. I'm just going to take the back off with the take your pick tool. And then what I'm going to do is I line it up on this edge, right at the edge of the Berry Vanilla. And keep it parallel with the bottom edge. So there's our front of our card. Then we need to work on the inside. And what I did is I already decorated the inside, and these were dies inside the dies set. So I just cut some of those out, and then I just used a small punch to punch out the gold for the center there. So for this part, I've already put the flowers together. So we've got one here. We want to glue 2 down in the back. And what you want to do is take care to make sure that it's not going to get creased in the fold of the card, and you don't want it sticking out on this side. So that's, you've got to be careful when you put those in. And I'm going to put them in with let me see, I think I used a glue dot. No, I think I used glue. Use glue on those. So then we just need to make sure we get them in there. So you want to make sure it doesn't go into the seam, the fold of the card, and that it won't stick out across the top of the card. And you know, you want to think about if they put pressure on the card, it flattens that flower a little bit. So you just want to make sure the petals aren't going to stick out. And then the same thing with the other card, other side. And then the center one in the back, I am going to use a 3-dimensional, so I put a dimension on the back of this flower head, and then I've got this stem, and the stems are made from cardstock, and so I just would stack 2 cards like this together and glue it, and then I can cut it into strips. So we just have individual strips of that. So that's what we have here, and it makes it a little stiffer by using double cards. And as you notice, these petals are missing, but they're not going to be seen. And I want to save paper, so I was able to get a lot more out of that paper than if I would have, you know, I would have missed a whole couple sheets here. So one 12 by 12 card or sheet of paper makes enough petals for 2 cards by squeezing everything in, and then, you know, taking a card here and there, and or taking a petal here and there where it's not going to be seen, making it shorter. So I could have done the same thing with like these in the center, that those wouldn't have been missed because this is going to sit over the top of it. So just keep that in mind, you know, twist and turn it. And this was actually, let me see if I can find it. 5.5 inches wide, so that you could get the medium petal and the small, sorry, let me start again. Cut the medium petal and the smallest petal within 5.5 inches, and then I would reverse it the other way, because that would get me in, tighter fit there. 5.5, 5.5, and whatever you have at the end. That was enough to put the largest one on there and cut it all by itself to do on the front of the card. So, so now we've got this petal here, and we're going to glue it down here. And I'm going to put a glue dot down there as well, or a dimensional down there to keep the same height. And now this is going beyond the edges. So what I have here is one of these static pieces that we use for when you're embossing. And I'm just going to kind of put it in there, and then it's not sticky on that side anymore. You want to do that before you take the tape off, otherwise you may have no stick on it. I'm going to just put that up there for right now. So what we need to do is we need to put this vase mechanism here, and that's going to, I have to wait until that's in place so I don't put it in a spot where it messes up the mechanism. So this is a 2 1/4 by 5 inch sheet of designer series paper, and I used the Warming Hearts. Be careful when you're looking at your designer series paper, because I thought that I could use this bedazzling, but the bedazzling, it doesn't have enough give, so it wouldn't. I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on it to get it to fold, and the fold in this mechanism to make this card bounce up like that, it's done with a little tiny piece of strip of tape, and it would just tear right off again. So this won't work. It looked wonderful, but it wouldn't work. I could either leave it open all the time or leave it flat all the time. I couldn't get it to go bounce back and forth between the two. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing your paper. So what we need to do next is, so you need to score the ends at 1 inch on each end, and then score this at 3/4 and then 1.5 inches. Or you could think 3/4 from each end, whichever way you want to think of it. Then you want to take out this one right here, so that needs to come out and be thrown away, and this one right here, and this one right here. So I'm going to just finish chopping those off. And then the middle one has to come off. And I'm just going to fold those down and then just cut across on the white line there. Okay. So then the next thing is we're going to want to add tape. So I don't know if you can see that, but it has tape written on there. And I'm going to use our tear and tape. And I'm going to, let me just get some room here. So and then I'm just going to tear that or cut it off. I'm not going to tear it off because I don't want any tape to be hanging out. And then we have tape on this side, on these two tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down right now. Ooh, tape sticking to my hand. I'm just pulling this tape back a little bit so that it's not coming off the edge of the, right up to the edge of the paper. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just make sure that's stuck down pretty good. So this is the side that we want to be showing as the vase. So that has the tape on these two, and then this is the tape. There's tape on the underside, and let me flip this around. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be put down this way on the card though, because this is going to flip up around and be put down that way to make the pop up. So let me bring the card in. So what you want to do, we need to bring in this piece here. And take these off, these backing strips off. And then we'll put this green strip down. Want that to be right over the top of that card, or that strip. And then this also has some writing on it that says tape, so there needs to be a piece of tape on that facing up. Okay, so I'm going to show you first before we actually do this. So this gets butted right up to the score line here. And then this needs to be lined up with the edge of the bottom of the paper. I'm going to take this out because it's kind of making my paper lift up a little bit. And then once we take this tape off, I'm going to fold this down, and it's going to stick to this, and then it's going to end up pulling itself back upon itself, so it'll be up here. That's where we want that to be. And then once that's in place, we can get this positioned. So let's go ahead and take that tape off. So I've got that butted right up to the corner or the edge of the fold line. And I've got this lined up with the bottom of the card. And I got it stuck to my finger, so let's try that again. Bottom of the card, score line, fold in, fold back. And see, it's now lined up with this line here. Rather than if I had it beyond the score line on this edge, it would be on top of the red stuff. So that was a perfect match there. Then the next thing is we need to take these tapes off because we're going to put this down. But what we need to do is we need to put them down so it lays flat. So that's how we got to do that. We got to try and put them down, not press them down, and then fold the card shut as we're starting to press it down so that it gets in the right position. And you also want to make sure that they're parallel to the bottom of the card, because if you have them going kitty wumpus, they're going to grab this card, and then they won't be able to slide back and forth. So what I did is I just went and trimmed a little bit wider that center piece out. I cut an extra little sliver out so that actually what it was is I cut it on the outside of the fold line rather than on the inside of the fold line, because we did that score line in there. And as long as you do that, that'll give you that little extra hair of room that you're going to need to make sure that it is going to be parallel to the base and not folding down, not sticking down to the guide, the slide. Oh, and I forgot to put this in. Let me see if I can get this off yet. I'm going to try to huff it. I hate that when that happens. So what I did is I forgot to tape down this. So that's that 1/2 inch piece by 2 inches. That I have 2 pieces of tape on the very ends, and that keeps that from sliding past the point where you want it to. So let me take that off. So you just put it up here. So that keeps this edge of the card or the vase in place. And what you want to make sure is that the top doesn't go beyond the top of the vase, and it's not going to go below, the bottom doesn't go below the vase either. So, and now let's see if we can get this card back down again. And it was so good the last time. Let's hope we didn't ruin it. See, they want to stick down right away because they're sticky stuff on both sides of the card. Let me see if I can get this down this way. Hold it this way a little bit. That might help. See if it... Yeah, it worked this time. And I'm going to just rub everything down, make sure it's stuck good. So that's our fold. And why I needed to do that is because we want to put this in and put it in somewhere where it isn't going to jam up the mechanism. So I'm just turning it so I can see where the mechanism is. And I'm going to have to move the tape up a little bit higher on the card, on the stem. And then I'm going to put the second one on there as well. Forgot I like to raise it up a little bit higher to give it some clearance there. So now I think we should be good. And the next one is, we've got two that are already on some stems. And we'll put them right about there. And I think I just glued those down. To the back of the card. Yeah, so then I used a mini dimensional. And put them on the front of the stem. I think I need to move this one up. And we're going to just do the double thing again because we don't want them stacking up one on top of each other. And then you just take them and you find position inside and get it, so I'm taping it to the inside of the vase. And so what's next, and I forgot about not having it come out, so we got to adjust that a little bit. Yeah, so I just turned it a little bit inward. So what's next is going to be putting one on the center of the card, or the vase, sorry. And that I just do with a single dimensional. And that looks a lot like that, except we don't have our leaves in. So we've got one at the bottom. And I am going to use dots on these. I'm going to trim these in half. And I'm going to put a glue dot right down there. And then this one, I'm putting the glue dot facing upward because I'm going to put it right underneath the flower here. And then we'll cut this one in half as well. And I think I'll do the same thing, putting it underneath. I need to make sure that it is not going to go outside the perimeter of the card, which doesn't appear to be so. So I'm going to have to put that back in. So one up here will work. And one out here. Actually, we'll put one down underneath the leaf. Put one down here. Because then that won't go past the corner. And we'll put one up here. So what do we got left? I got 3 more leaves left. Let's do some up here.
I think I'm going to put one in there. And I think I'm going to put it in so that maybe I'll put two glue dots in there to keep both of those inward. Get it down a little bit farther. Yep, this one needs to be turned yet a little bit more. And then we've got our picks we got to put in yet. And we'll do like around here, one down here, and one up here. Just trying to bend this down just a little bit to give it a little more curve. I think I would glue that one with this glue dot on the underside and glue it to the base here, to the vase. Did I forget anything?
I hope you liked this project as much as I did. as you can see, you could use this with any flower dies and sentiment stamp set, making cards for birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, almost any holiday. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, that means you like it, and share it on social media with your crafting friends, and share it on Pinterest. Those 2 actions will help me share my video with crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below, that way you won't miss when I post future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help you in any way that I can. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Before I go, I want to remind you of the specials going on right now. Designers Series paper sales, stock up and save. We all love gorgeous Designer Series paper, and during this incredible sale, you can enjoy 15% discount on the select papers from our annual catalog. Now is a great time to stock up and save on some of our most popular paper designs. Sale runs until August 2nd. The next 2 items aren't a current promotion, but I just wanted to tell you we have a mini catalog coming August 3rd, and that is the July to December mini catalog. It's your passport to stunning seasonal projects. It contains all the products you'll need to craft, create, and celebrate during Halloween, Christmas, and more. Are you ready to celebrate? Celebration is one of our biggest promotions of the year. Are you ready to celebrate? During the celebration, you can earn exclusive products for free. For every $50 you spend, you can add your pick of a celebration product to the cart at no additional cost. Sale runs August 3rd through September 30th. Mark your calendars. I'll be back Tuesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Central Time for some more Christmas in July. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget to subscribe.